Hey everybody, Dr. G coming at you with another deck profile. This time I'll be profiling my Magatsu Storm deck. Now, ride chain type decks always kinda interested me. The fact that they could guarantee that you wouldn't miss your ride means you could play around with the card ratios a little bit. So, let's see how that can work out for you. Now, this deck was not my idea. The original idea came from somebody in Japan, and it really intrigued me that he played a deck that played only 4 grade 3s. So I had to try it out. And you know what? I was not disappointed at all. It was so interesting. And the concept behind this whole deck is really quite genius. Now, as you can see from the triggers here, this deck is very crit heavy. 4, 8, 12 crits. It was meant to pile on the damage from the early and mid game. Now, you might think, you might want some draws in here because you only have 4 grade 3s. But you know what? Playing with this deck, misriding is not too much of a problem because it's a really aggressive deck, so it can still pile on the damage even if it's great stuff. Better at 2, not at 1 really, but yes, it can still pretty much pile on the damage. And we have here our grade 1s. Now you got your standard stuff here, 4 perfect guards, 4 AK vanillas, and your 4 ride chain enablers. Then you got these extra grade 1s here. Now in a regular ratio deck, you probably have 2 or 3 of these would be the grade 3s. But for here, the name of the game is piling on the damage, so you need boosters for that. And what we got here is a Stealth Beast Night Panther. Go for boosting, but also good for attacking. Boost it up to hit those higher numbers, counterblast 1, but you really need to save those counterblasts for your limit break here. Then you got Oboro card. Counterblast 1, copy some other rear guard on the field temporarily, and then in a turn they go back to the bottom of the deck. Now, this one's useful for aggressive pushes in the early and mid game. Get a copy of a booster or an attacker, attack, then go away. It helps with the aggressive nature of this deck. And here we have your grade 2s. You got your 10k vanilla, 4 of those, and of course 4 of your ride chain. Then you got these 4 other cards. You got Stealth Dragon Royal Nova, good 12k attacker, very bad Vanguard. Becomes 5k if it's the Vanguard, so you really only want 2 of these. And then we have a Stealth Beast Spellhound, 2 of them. That's your self damager, counterblast 1, put a damage in your damage zone temporarily until the end of turn. You would use it normally as a limit break enabler, but for this deck, this card is really more useful for grabbing your Magatsu Storms that are in your damage zone. Now you only have 4 of these, so if for some weird reason you have 1 Magatsu Storm in your damage zone and you only have 1 left in your deck, you really need those in your deck. So you use Spellhound and take that Magatsu Storm back, put it into your deck. That's really what it's used for. Grab some stuff in your damage zone, put it back in your deck. And as for grade 3s, you only have 1. 4 Magatsu Storms. Now the reason why this deck only runs these 4 is because of the way the deck works. So you use Magatsu Storm skill, and you put 2 more copies onto the field, use them whatever you want, attack with them. After that, they go to the bottom of the deck. And then after they go to the bottom of the deck, all of your drive checks from now on is guaranteed to have a shield value. Well, except for the one that you didn't put in there, but the rest of the two will be on the bottom. So all drive checks will be all shields. So you can use that to block. That's part of the strategy of this deck. Okay, considering the fact that I net decked this deck without knowing exactly how it works, and the small card pool for Murakumo, choices for optional cards are limited. An example of that would probably be the use of Leaf Raccoon. You use Leaf Raccoon probably in place of Obro card or Night Panther, but more for Night Panther. I think maybe 2 or 3 in place of Night Panther. The reason for that is early part of the game. Because you use a Magatsu Storm skill to put attackers onto the field without using cards in your hand, it makes your hand bigger than your opponent's, making Leaf Raccoon into a 10k booster. But later on, it'll just be a 6k booster when your hand's more depleted, so you could use this if you want in place of Night Panther, but I still prefer Night Panther because you can use it as an attacker. It's a better attacker than 6k because it can boost itself to higher numbers. Another card I considered was Stealth Beast White Mane. You can put it in place of Royal Nova or Spellhound. Unflip that damage. Give your Magatsu Storm another counterblast to use, or Obro card, or Night Panther. You could use this in place of Royal Nova or Spellhound. In place of Royal Nova if you don't like having an accidental 5k Vanguard during the early parts of the game, or if you don't like self-damaging cards like Spellhound. Another card I considered using, which I don't own, was Platinum Blonde Box Spirit Tamamo. If you're not too comfortable with running only 4 grade 3s, you could put 2 or 3 in here. Probably 2 if you still want the whole drive checking and not getting a grade 3 thing, because you shuffled all your grade 3s back in the deck. It'll still give you some Tamamos in your drive check, but with 2, at least you will have a better chance of not missing your ride if your ride chain fails to provide your grade 3s. 3 if you wanted to run more like a standard ratio deck, but do you really want to do that? Because using only 4 grade 3s is much more intriguing, so I suggest trying this out first before adding some Tamamos in here. Overall strategy for this deck is really by the numbers, and it first starts out with the grade 1. Now, if you manage to be the one to attack first, then you would probably want to do this. Not everyone's done that, attack twice. Maybe you'll get lucky and manage to do that too, but this is a little bit more realistic. Get them to get more damage down or drop more shields, go through the numbers, get my damage in, and then we get to the grade 2s. Because when that Magatsu Gale comes down, that means you can do Shadow Clone Jutsu. Get 2 more Gales. And with that, you got 3 more attacks in. And if there are Vanguards, like a 9k Vanguard, you can attack with that. Or if you want more, you could do this too. You got 3 attacks coming in. And with 12 criticals, you'll be piling on the damage. And then these go away. Now, here's what I'm talking about. This deck can handle missing their grade 3s pretty good. Why? Because they have the ability to call cards from the deck to the field to attack for them. and that means less cards to use from your hand to keep being aggressive. Like, say for example, you do this. I have an Oboro card in my hand. Put that down. Counterblast. Copy a Night Panther or Shijumaru. Put that down. I still got my attacking field here. And this one goes away. This, if I still want to attack more, I can move this guy out or get another, or some grade 2s in there. You still have a really good attacking field, and with those crits coming down, they're gonna be a little wary of even with your just grade 2s. This deck has the ability to be aggressive even without a grade 3. But then you get your grade 3s. You do a Shadow Clone Jutsu. Immediately, if you ride over your grade 2 Magatsu Gales, and you got your field again. Now, attack. Maybe some crits will come down, maybe they won't, but you're still attacking. Then you just go to the bottom of the deck, and from now on, every drive check will have shield digits on them, except for that one Magatsu Storm if it's still in there. But you know what I mean. After that, by having this one lone Magatsu Storm, you can kind of control how your opponent attacks, because they really only have one target. So you can get them to attack you, then pile on the damage so you can use this limit break. Then when it's your turn, use this limit break, bring your storms down again, and I didn't even use any cards in my hand. Attack again. So since I didn't use any cards in my hand, my hand's bigger, better cards for blocking. I have more control on what I want to use. It's all about using the least amount of cards in your hand and beating down your opponent until they couldn't fight it, until they lose. I can do that. Pay 1. Do that. Attack. This goes away. Or block with that. My limit breaks, but I can use my limit break again, and really it becomes a really threatening deck once you get to this point. And that is my Magatsu Storm deck. Magatsu Storm is a really interesting card, and if you try it out in the deck I just showed you guys in, it becomes a really interesting deck. I suggest giving this deck a shot if you want some fun and challenge. I mean, with a deck that only runs 4 grade 3s, you are just asking to be grade stuck. But with a deck like this, has a ride chain that can help you with being grade stuck, or has the ability to ride out being grade stuck. You got a really nifty deck here. It's a deck that's really tailor-made for the strategy I just showed you, and you should really give this deck a shot. So that's my deck, and I'm sticking to it.